In this video, we will talk about the grammar of client-side events, that is to say, everything that can be written in them. First of all, we will briefly mention the invocations that can be made within a client event. Next, we will talk about the other commands, taking into account that the grammar of client-side events is reduced compared to that of server-side events. Not everything that we write in a start, refresh, or load event can be written in a client-side event. We'll talk about invocations in another video, when we study call options. They allow indicating some aspects of the invocation that will be immediately executed, such as the effects used to enter and leave the screen, the place of the screen where the invoked object will be opened, or even the relationship with the stack. We can specify whether the screen called will work as a callout or as a pop-up. We can classify invocations as server REST services, as data providers or procedures, which return data that we will load in a variable on the device. They must be exposed as REST services. We can't call an internal procedure from the device if we're using an application with an online architecture. At the end of the course, we will talk about an offline scenario. Also, from a client-side event, we may want to add a new record to the database without prompting the user for information. This is done as in any other GeneXus object, using the methods and properties of the business component. The difference here is that it will also have to be exposed as a REST service because we're calling from the device in an online architecture. From a client-side event, we can also call the Work With Detail screen to perform insert, update, or delete operations. Internally, this will translate into an invocation to the REST business component. Here, through this screen, the user is prompted for information. Next, this operation is performed in a transparent way for the developer. We may also just want to call the list or the detail in view mode, as well as objects called panels for smart devices, which are a bit more flexible than work with screens. We may also call a dashboard, or even use some of the features provided by APIs, such as displaying a message on the screen, asking the user for confirmation to continue, returning to the caller, refreshing the screen, adding a contact to the address book, and so on. A web panel can also be invoked. It'll be open in the device browser, where the border is removed to make it look more similar to the rest of the application. That's all about invocations for now. As for commands, the accepted ones are shown here. For example, a control can be shown or hidden, and its class can be configured. The control structures if and do while can be used. At the moment, these are not included. For in, do case, and methods such as add of SDTs or business components. These structures now accept Boolean expressions, which may include everything we know, except for UDP invocations or external objects methods. Invocations to subroutines can also be used, except in the dashboard object. In the command for each selected line, only a proc can be invoked. It's invoked once when it's online. On the server, it's invoked n times for each selected line, and the result is returned in a JSON format. In assignments to a simple variable, we can assign an expression or an invocation to a proc that returns the value. But an SDT element or business component can only be assigned a value, not an expression. As for the composite command, let's remember what we've already seen in other videos. When two or more invocations have to be included in one event, the entire code of the event must be grouped within this command. In this way, if an error occurs in the call sequence, it stops running and errors are automatically handled by displaying them on screen without any programming. This command is only implemented in smart devices, where it's mandatory. We will study this in more detail in the next video. Join us!